Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, and what I'm going to look at today are just two short interviews or short parts of interviews that the enigmatic Emma White made in the early days. Because we're going back to basics now. In the Nicola Bulley case, the inquest is coming up. Each Sunday is another week closer to it, and the inquest will be on the 26th of June, so still 5 weeks, so still quite a long time. But I've been doing these back to basics videos because the other reason why I've been doing them, apart from to just remind ourselves why we all felt suspicious in the first place, because since Nicola was formally identified, there's been this total silence. Nobody's been interviewed, there's been no news, and you know, people like Emma especially, who was so, you know, so in the forefront of the case, being interviewed every 5 minutes, it felt like, and sort of taking over the whole scenario. And the more I look back now over these videos, it does look really strange that why was this woman getting so involved in everything, and I'll explain that as we go along. Anyway, so yeah, that's one reason why I want to go back over some of the things, and I've done a couple of back to the basics. There's a playlist on Nicola Bulley on my channel. I will put the link in the comments or in the description, because if you want to go back and watch all the videos about Nicola Bulley, because we do forget as time goes on, don't we? We do forget things that happened and why we felt a certain way, or little details. So I've certainly been watching, I watched all my videos back, but not only mine, but a lot of others, and a lot of information from weeks ago, you know, when it was all going on, to just refresh my memory as to why I felt so suspicious and why it all felt so strange. Of course, hopefully we'll get some proper answers with the inquest, but at the moment we're still in the dark, we're still speculating. So in this particular in this particular video, I'm just going to look, so I'm just going to do them in short videos. I'm not going to do one. I thought about doing one great big long video with all of Emma's interviews on it, and I thought, no, I'll just do them a bit, because you sort of, that's a bit, you get Emma out in the end of it. And I think when you watch them in small clips, then you get more from it, you think about it more. You know, otherwise you could sort of, as a long video goes on, you start to lose the thread of it. So I'm going to look at two short interviews. I'm going to make my commentary on what I think, and especially now, I was looking over them earlier today, and I was thinking, that is just not right. It's not right. This is why we felt like things weren't right. But because everything else was going on at the time, not just us focusing on Emma's interviews. There was Paul's interview. There was the Peter Falding looking for the body. There was the psychic that found the body. There was all the things in those weeks when Nicola was missing. There were a lot of different things, weren't there, that our mind was occupied with. And when you look back now and just look at these interviews on their own, not with everything else, not with any other interviews or anything, it actually looks ridiculous that she was so involved. But anyway, so I'm going to play like a clip from the interview, and then I'll be stopping every now and again and just stopping it every now and again and letting you know what I think. So let's look at the beginning. So this particular interview is, do you remember that when Paul was interviewed, he did his big long interview for Channel 5 with Dan Walker that ended up being an hour and a half. The police refused to take part in that programme. Paul did the interview actually at that Marsh Hall Farm, or Marsh Farm Hall, I always pronounce it wrongly. And of course, remember, I made my video with the Cluedo characters, and that's what Marsh Farm Hall always reminds me of. You know, the place where Cluedo was done. You know, it's just like, it's all larger than life, this case. But so it was done at Marsh Hall Farm. Paul had his interview there, and in fact Nicola's parents had to. Now I haven't gone back over Nicola's parents' interview because I feel like I want to be respectful to them because I don't feel, you know, they were genuinely grieving and genuinely that was so heartfelt. I don't think it's fair to do that. It's funny, isn't it? Because I do feel that sometimes people come on and say, see, I don't feel like I have to show respect to Emma and Paul because I do feel they're implicated somehow. I've always been respectful to Nicola and to Nicola's family and to her children, but I don't feel this, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. And the more I've looked back now over these videos, I definitely don't think I am. So yeah, Paul had his interview at Marsh Hall Farm and Emma was clearly there. Well, obviously she lives there, so she's bound to be there, I suppose. So it's quite strange, why was the interview there in the first place? And that's where the parents' interview was. So many times in Paul's interview, he looks towards Emma, he mentions Emma, he gestures his hand towards Emma. So it's clear that Emma is there, in my opinion, she's controlling every aspect of that interview. That interview was set up because he made the car crash interview on the riverbank where he smirked and smiled and forgot to say hope. Now, you watch, that word hope comes in so often now because that's been clicked onto, that he didn't say hope in that first interview, and the reporter actually had to say that to him. I'm just laughing because, hang on, let me see. Can you see one of my dogs there? You can just see her. She's trying to get on the camera. Are you trying to get on the camera? Yeah, you can just see the top of her ears. That's the German Shepherd. Anyway. Hope she doesn't start barking because she's ear splitting. So what we're going to do, but then later on in that very same Dan Walker programme, Emma did this interview that we're going to watch, but she didn't do it. So all the TV cameras obviously were there at Marsh Farm Hall because they just videoed Paul, filmed Paul and made his video. But when it came to showing Emma speaking, they did it from the studio, like on a Zoom call. So I feel like they were trying to, show a separation between them, but there was no separation between them. Those two people are having some sort of relationship. You never see one without the other, and then they're trying to stage it as if they are. They weren't together, but they were together. Paul was probably in the background as she's doing this interview now. Why wasn't she filmed, this little interview? Why was this not filmed at the same time as they were filming Paul? So they went all the way back to the studio and then got on a Zoom call with Emma, or pretended to be on a Zoom call with Emma. It's just staged. It's not right, and there's a reason for it. The reason for it is because they were shown to trying to show distance between them when really there is no distance between them. And Emma takes over this case. You watch like she's she is the matriarch of the I was going to say the family, and we'll see that in the second interview here. That's how it feels. But wasn't she just an acquaintance of Nicky's? I don't think she was a special best friend of any kind, or she was another mum. They'd obviously been in some social situations together, but was she that close that she would be taking over the whole search for Nicky? But and the whole, she even takes over from the police, because by now, that's the other thing that you notice, by now the police have taken a step back. They didn't want to be involved in the programme, even though it was an appeal. Well, it was supposed to be an appeal. Paul doesn't appeal really at all until Dan reminds him to. An appeal for the whereabouts of Nicky. But these people, they knew. Emma knows where Nicky is at this point, and Paul knew too, in my eyes. But anyway, so let's listen to it. And I'll make little comments as we go along. Oh.
Got from Paul tonight, Nicky's partner, and he's told us a lot about the Nicola that he loves. What about the Nicola that you know so well?
Yeah, I think.
Now, straight away there, because Dan has just said, and he's told us about the Nicola that you love, and then, honest to God, you see her face when she comes on, she goes, yeah, like that. You know, she doesn't like him saying that. Then Nicola, he doesn't love Nicola, he loves me. That's why.
Just from seeing her face out there, she's touched the nation, hasn't she? And everything that you see, and a little bit more, is what she is inside. She's beautiful, she's caring, she's thoughtful, she's kind, she's funny, she's loving, the most loyal friend. She's the stuff that dreams are made of. And
So this stuff, you know, I'm sorry, I'm sort of watching it and I'm thinking, I'm sure I do feel that Nicola was a very nice person. That's the, you know, that's just the impression that you get. But nobody's perfect. I mean, she's eulogising over like, it's too much. In my eyes, it's too much. And also, a lot of the time, she seems to me like she's doing it through gritted teeth. Let's just go back a bit there. Oh, poor Nikki.
being the most loyal friend, she's the stuff that dreams are made of. And we've laughed, we've cried, everything in between. And then you take Nikki's lovely, amazing qualities. You had Paul's in there. We've laughed, we've cried, everything in between. And then you take Nikki's lovely, amazing qualities. You had Paul's in there. And then we've got these two little human beings that we have to do everything to bring Nikki home and bring their mummy home for them.
She's got to bring Paul into it. Why is she bringing Paul into it? No, she talked about Nikki. Paul's not gone missing. Nicola's gone missing. Paul's not gone missing, but she's still got to bring him into it. And then we've got these two little human beings that... Yeah, I don't like the way she refers to these two little human beings. She's quite patronising when she speaks about the children. She always says little minds or little this or little that. They're like not, you know, important enough. That's how it feels to me. So again, listen, all the way through this, I'm just going to be giving you my opinion. What do you think? I think you agree with me, don't you? I'm going to be giving you my opinion. It is purely my opinion. I suppose I should say this video is for entertainment purposes only, but it's my opinion. I'm not trying to tell you what to think. I'm just saying how I don't. It's not even what I think. It's how I feel. The way she speaks and how it makes me feel.
Many other people have put everything on hold over the past fortnight, helping the family and helping the police as well. The community response has been incredible. I was up in St Michael's on Wye today. There's people everywhere on street corners holding up posters of Nikki everywhere. Has that struck you? I know you're a close-knit community anyway. Yeah, we are a close-knit community, but that community near and far has united. Oh, it's been fundamental in raising the profile of Nikki's disappearance, generating those lines of inquiry. What I cannot stress enough is please keep those lines of inquiry, please keep them factual. Don't clog that 101 line that we really need to have that factual information come through to give the police lines of inquiry. Even the locals, with all the disruption they've had on the village, they've been so supportive. We've all got the end goal to bring Nikki home. Then we've got Peter and the SGI group offering their time and expertise to cement the great work that the police have done. And then the acts of kindness from everybody is just unimaginable. And I'd personally like to thank every single one of you, family, friends, strangers. It's the simple act of kindness that have made the biggest difference. And the strength that it's given me to then be able to be, I heard in Paul's interview, that pillar of support. The people supporting me, we've been able to support Paul and the girls, and I cannot thank everybody enough. And we need to bring Paul and the girls there rock home to bring Nikki home. Well, Emma, I know you do an incredible job, and it's very much appreciated by Paul and many others there. Thank you for your time tonight. Do take care of yourself. We appreciate you speaking to us live on the programme. And let's bring in our students. We have to do everything to bring Nikki home and bring their mummy home for them. I know that you and many other people have put everything on hold over the past fortnight, helping the family and helping the police as well. The community response has been incredible. I was up in St Michael's on Wye today. There's people everywhere on street corners holding up posters of Nikki everywhere. Has that struck you? I know you're a close-knit community anyway. Yeah, we are a close-knit community, but that community near and far has united. Oh, it's been fundamental in...
Oh, it's been fundamental. I mean, people say she has acted in things. I haven't been able to find anything that she's acted in, but it feels like she's acting, doesn't it?
Raising the profile of Nicky's disappearance, generating those lines of inquiry. What I cannot stress enough is
Right, now here, so generating those lines of inquiry, and then she goes on to, it's like she's the police talking, appealing. Listen to what she says.
Please keep those lines of inquiry, please keep them factual. Don't clog that 101 line that we really need to have that factual information come through to give the people.
You know, who is she? So don't clog that 101 line, you know, that she's taking the authority. Even Paul didn't say that, you know, even Nicky's parents and her sister didn't say that. She's taking all this on board to tell people what to do and to take control of this narrative, to take complete control of it. And yeah, it seems funny to me. And actually I was watching gosh, I've watched that many programs about this now, I can't even remember, but there was a guy on it who was a policeman or a quite high up in, like a detective inspector, superintendent, whatever, I don't know. But he was talking about body language, and he said he doesn't believe in the body language. He said, don't look at the body language. He said, listen to what people say. He said, that's what tells you if they're lying, or if they, you know, listen to what they say, not looking at what their body's doing at that time when they say it. Just listen to what they say. And if you listen to what she says, she's taking control of this whole situation, and it's not appropriate, I don't think.
These lines of inquiry, even the locals, with all the disruption they've had on the village, have been so supportive. We've all got the end goal to bring Nicky home. Then we've got Peter and the SGI group offering their time and expertise to cement the great work that the police have done. And then the acts of kindness from everybody is just unimaginable. And I'd personally like to thank every single one of you, family, friends, strangers.
Yeah, I'd personally like to thank every single one of you. I'd personally, who is she to be thanking people? That's, you know, I've been following this Madeline Kingsbury case over in America, and her sister is the spokesperson there, one of her sisters. And she says things like that, you know, who is Emma to be thanking everyone personally for all the help they've given? You know, when you think about it, it's actually ludicrous, isn't it?
It's the simple act of kindness that have made the biggest difference. And the strength that it's given me to then be able to be, I heard in Paul's interview, that pillar of support. The people supporting me, we've been able to...
Yeah, this pillars come up a lot, doesn't it? Pillar of strength, pillar of support.
Support Paul and the girls, and I cannot thank everybody enough. And we need to bring Paul and the girls their rock home, to bring Nicky home.
We need to bring Paul and the girls their rock home, because it's in this interview, or the interview that Paul did, where he describes Nicky as a rock. Because don't forget, none of this information about Nicky being, you know, having a drink problem and being suffering from the perimenopause and all that, none of that information had come out yet, none of it. So at this moment in time, Nicky's been described as a rock and a pillar of support. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Why, when they were looking for her, like this is in the quite early days, wasn't it? Was it about a couple of weeks, or was it the second week? Can't remember the exact date of the interview. But people should have been aware, you know, or certainly some people, if Nicky had these vulnerabilities, shouldn't we have been told about them? I still cannot believe that there was never an appeal put out for a woman that supposedly is suffering from the depression and alcohol problems, perimenopause. There's all sorts of rumours, because all these sort of horrible people releasing things about her medical records and stuff like that. We, you know, that is terrible. We don't need to know about her medical records. We just need to know when it comes out the inquest, whatever the coroner thinks is appropriate to whatever his decision is, and all this coming out about her, despite all that, why is she not saying, oh come on Nikki, just come home, it doesn't matter? No, she knows her so well, and she's her friend, and she knows she's got these vulnerabilities. I would be there pleading, look please, because you'd be thinking the worst, wouldn't you? You'd be thinking they might have taken themselves off to do something to themselves. So if that was my friend, I'd like be, look, you know, we can sort out any problem you've got, it can be sorted out, please just come back because your children need you. But you know, these direct appeals to Nikki, there's none of that, not from him or her.
You do an incredible job, and it's very much appreciated by Paul and many others there. And thank you for your time tonight. Do take.
That's right. He says you're doing a fantastic job, and it's very much appreciated by Paul and many others there. So he doesn't say by Paul and Nikki's family, or Nikki's sister, or Nikki's mum and dad. You know, this is not something that they're involved with, I don't think.
Care of yourself. We appreciate you speaking to us live on the programme. And let's bring in our
So that's the first interview. It's not the first interview she did. It's the first one I'm going to look at on this particular occasion. I will be looking at all the. I think she did 17 interviews in total. So I'll probably do 2 for each video. So that was the one, as I say, when Paul on this Vanished programme that Paul did his interview, and then Emma did an interview for some unknown reason over Zoom, even though the cameras had all just been there sort of that day doing the interview with Paul. So let's carry on and see what the next one tells us.
Are you hoping they're going to find?
Yeah, from when the news bulletin came in on Friday and the police's hypothesis, and we said it's a theory, we need some evidence to back that theory up. And then going on the media, we saw this guy, Peter Folding, CGI Group, who has this specialist equipment, they've got expertise in running this device. The sonar device can come along on the bed and pick up a little stone. We thought, well, how do we get in contact with it? Go, we need this guy in St Michael's now. And that's not undermining all the work that the police have done. They've been in that river 10 days. What we're hoping is that this guy coming along can offer a fresh eyes and can support what's been done.
So there's part of you as well, though, that's kind of hoping they don't find anything, isn't it? I mean,
Absolutely.
how are you as a family? How are you all coping?
Yeah, ultimately want that hypothesis to be proved wrong. We just can't describe it, and I think we're all feeling the same thing. It's just this roller coaster of emotions, and it's just a funny feeling, but we've all got this funny feeling that we can't describe. We still have that hope. That's why we're here. We're out as a community. We did a Facebook page last night, social media, hashtag bring Nikki home. We're doing everything you can just to get those 2 little girls, their mummy, back where she belongs.
Thank you so much for speaking. Coming in today, you instigated them. Did you hoping they're going to find?
Yeah, so when the news bulletin came in on Friday, the police's hypothesis.
So first of all, the reporters said to her, oh, so this is when Peter Folding was coming in, and the reporter says to her, you instigated it, didn't you? You instigated it, didn't you? So yeah, again, she's so involved in everything. Oops, sorry. Right, sorry, I press the wrong button then.
Are you hoping they're going to find?
Yeah, so when the news bulletin came in on Friday, the police's hypothesis, and we said it's a theory, we need some evidence to back that theory up. And then going on the media, we saw this guy, Peter Folding, CGI Group, who has this specialist equipment,
So she's going on the media, we saw. Who's we? Because as far as I can see, or as far as we've never seen her husband. Is she still together with her husband? Why is there all this secrecy about everything? Anyway, so I don't know who we is. Probably her and Paul, and they sit at night looking through all the social media and all the YouTube channels and what they're saying about it, then they've come up and looked up divers. Yeah, it's funny, how did they come to find Peter Folding, and what was... Anyway, let's carry on.
They've got expertise in running this device. The sonar device can come on the bed and pick up a little stone. We thought, well, how do we get in contact with it? We need this guy in St Michael's now. And that's not undermining all the work that the police have done. They've been in that river 10 days. What we're hoping is that this guy coming along can offer a fresh eyes and can support what's been done.
It's like there's part of you as well though that's kind of hoping they don't find anything, isn't it? I mean, how are you as a family? How are you all coping?
Yeah, of course we want that.
So she says, how are you as a family? How's everyone coping? The reporter says. How are you as a family? She does not bat an eyelid when she says that.
Well, that's kind of hoping they don't find anything, isn't it? I mean, how are you as a family? How are you all coping?
Yeah, of course.
How are you as a family? How are you all coping? And Emma doesn't bat she doesn't hesitate for a minute. And when Emma's speaking, look, you can see her there, the way she's looking. To me, she's thinking. It's all this thinking, concentration. Same with Paul with his interview. It's not, to me, not naturally fluid what they're saying. They're thinking, calculating what they're going to say. Emma reminds me so much of, in the Huntley case, Maxine Carr. She just reminds me so much of her.
We want that hypothesis to be proved wrong. We just can't describe it, and I think we're all feeling the same thing. It's just this roller coaster of emotions, and it's just a funny feeling.
Yeah, she makes a really funny face there, doesn't she? Not sure what that is.
It's just a funny feeling, but
it's just a funny feeling, very strange, but anyway.
This funny feeling that we can't describe, we still have that hope, that's why we're here.
So they mentioned hope. Now, since that very first interview when Paul forgot to mention hope, hope is mentioned in every single interview, and sometimes it's mentioned many times.
We're out as a community. We did a Facebook page last night, social media, hashtag bring Nikki home. We do everything you can just to get those two little girls their mummy back.
Just to get those two little girls their mummy back. Just don't like the way she talks. Well, I don't know why. I just don't like I think she's patronising the way she talks about the children.
Thank you so much for speaking.
And then at the end of all that heart-rendering, she never cries. Of course, she's got her eyelashes and her makeup on, and I understand that. You wouldn't see me on Sky News or whatever that was without my eye makeup on, but I can tell you now it'd probably end up all over my face if my friend had gone missing. But see, at the end, it's the smile, it's the deepest delight. It's just like, yeah. So, there you go. What do you think? The most important thing for me at the moment is what you think, because, sometimes I feel a bit guilty, about the way I've sort of felt about Emma and Paul and everything, and there's every now and again I think, oh gosh, have I misjudged them, and maybe I shouldn't be thinking like that. That's bad thinking. But going back over these interviews bit by bit and going back to the basics like I've done, it's just confirming really the way that I feel. Whether anything will ever be resolved, I don't know. Anyway, look out for more videos, listening to the lovely Emma, and always remember to live and love very, very carefully. And I will see you again very shortly in the next video, and until then, may your God go with you. Thank you.